Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and today I'd like to take a look at the Bloodbeast. The lovely, one of the many Fighting Fantasy miniatures being produced by Atlantis Miniatures, most of which were originally sculpted by Damien Sparkles of Pure Evil Miniatures. I'm not sure if Pure Evil Miniatures are still in business. I believe they aren't. But anyway, I first spied this beauty about 5 years ago at Fighting Fantasy Fest in London, and like some other eager enthusiasts, I took plenty of photographs and even a little bit of video footage of some of the miniatures. Damien happily took them out of the cabinet and showed us and chatted about them, and I've got to say, I'm going to append the footage onto the end of this video, but I should warn you all, when I go back to London, the old North East London accent starts coming out. Yeah, and also I was so beside myself with joy at the time, but I couldn't really, I practically lost the power of rational speech. This is the current state of my painting area. I present proof of paint, but more on some of these things later. For now though, we're looking at the Bloodbeast. Now this hideous monster of Fighting Fantasy Legends is one of the most iconic Fighting Fantasy monsters. I was also extremely excited to see the miniature for the shape changer, and I was terribly disappointed when I was unable to avail myself of one at Fighting Fantasy Fest 3 this year in August. Now let's look at the individual components of the Bloodbeast. Here we have the stone rim that goes around the edge of his fetid pool, complete with the iron rings. Probably prisoners were chained to this at some point. On the underneath we have four chunks that are going to need trimming down. We have a bottom of a base here, and the contents of the pool will sit inside it, essentially dropping in and propping up against this limb, this inner rim here. There is a prototype sculpt where the contents of the pool sludge up around the edge. That does not seem to be the one that is available to us now. Now here we have the body of the beast itself in all its horrific glory, filled with many holes. So hopefully you'll be able to see its thick scaly hide, its blubbery underbelly, the many eyes, and if you know about the Bloodbeast, you probably know about the eyes, and if you don't, I probably shouldn't tell you, I'll let you find out for yourself. And its gaping maw filled with sharp teeth. It's also resting in its pool of congealed blood and slime. And then going back over its head, the lumps and bumps and eyes go back over the head. The eyes kind of stop around here really. And then we get a sort of crocodile-like pattern down the spine as well. And more holes for all the spiky spines that are supposed to protrude from its body. This will obviously go inside the rim, which is down there. And this horrific creature will lurk ominously. Now he doesn't move from his pool. We have a tail. Lovely tail. It's not quite a square peg, it's more of a rectangle. Nasty tail. Go roughly there. With its little spiky sting on it. And then we also have his long, I'm just going to prop it there, his long and sinuous tongue. And for those of you familiar with the Bloodbeast, I'm sure you all know that the foul stench from his horrific pool is so strong it can render a full-grown adventurer unconscious, and then he will use his foul, sinuous tongue to draw them into his great gaping maw full of teeth. Here we have 3 sprues of spines. Each has a round hole at the bottom and straight spine. Some of these spines are a little longer than others. And I'm not sure precisely which ones are supposed to go where on the body. I haven't looked closely yet to see if they're labelled. Give me one moment. Labelled they are not. So I'm going to have to guess that the shorter ones probably go around the edge of his body, and on the underside, where they are close to the rim of the pit. And after that awkward jump cut, courtesy of the fact that my camera has a tiny memory card, we're back. I hope you're all loving the look of this miniature. In fact, Atlantis Miniatures are now running a lovely little Kickstarter for a whole slew of Fighting Fantasy miniatures, which are doing really quite well at the moment. They're heavily funded, very popular, and in fact this is mostly for the benefit of some of their backers who wanted some scale reference for the Bloodbeast. Now, I don't have any Space Marines. I don't own any Space Marines. I do own a number of other sort of generic miniatures from lots of different companies and not so generic ones, but hopefully these Reaper paint pots will help. Here's a paintbrush. You can see the paintbrush handle. That's a Winsor & Newton Series 7 paintbrush, in case that's important. Yeah, I really like the Series 6, but they discontinued the Series 6. They were generally better brushes in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to go stick this together at some point and eventually get it painted up, but I'm probably going to ask the guys at Atlantis Miniatures which pegs go where, because it looks like they're all roughly the same shape, and it's probably just up to me to choose. Now, I'm going to leave you with the footage of the Bloodbeast that I took, 4 or 5 years ago now, at the original Fighting Fantasy Fest. And I hope you've all enjoyed this video, and I'll look forward to seeing you in future ones. I'll say bye-bye for now, and cheerio, guys.
Yeah. It's like, I might as well have a go. And I started doing Rangers, and then Mr. Livingston saw them and said, hang on. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. You painted these up as well? Yeah. Absolutely lovely. I'm not just saying that. Now you can actually see what's behind the Bloodbeast. And I did like crocodile.
Oh, of course, because you don't see
like a protective thing. Yeah. See all the details just off the. Take a picture of that.
Yeah, no, sorry,
the world's never seen that before.
Currently filming, actually. I've taken a few photos. I'll tell you what, I'll just stop.